my name's Helena. So I want to study film one day after I study geography at university, because I'm very interested in social issues like spatial inequality and poverty and stuff. So I first of all want to get an understanding of all that, and then I want to incorporate it in films that I make at a later stage.
Interestingly, I also did geography.
Really?
Yeah, that was my favorite subject at school. I loved it. And one of the reasons I loved it, I think, was because it was one of the few subjects that gave me an international view of the world at a time when I didn't have much else going on internationally, being taught to me. But I did development, economics and politics and geography in Norwich at UEA.
So also a big focus for me is, of course, female empowerment in film, because that's the main topic of this interview. Growing up, did you experience stereotypes about what you should or shouldn't do as a girl? And also, how did this affect you and how did you overcome this?
Well, obviously, growing up, there was lots of dodgy stuff on telly when I was growing up. And it was a long time before I remember seeing any sort of positive role models on TV of Indians and Black people, But that was the reason why I wanted to become a filmmaker, because my whole reason was to see, if I could make a difference and with what I had grown up with, because I do believe stereotypes do generate all kinds of racist views. And my whole life really has been dedicated to challenging racism and sexism.
My next question was what inspired you to pursue a career in film? So that also kind of answered that.
I think I wanted to challenge the way, and what happened was when I was at university, I took a gap year and I worked in India in this feminist newspaper, feminist magazine. It was called Manushi. So I did an internship for there. And while I was there, I read an article that this doctor had written, Dr. Neera Desai at Nehru University. And it was about images of women in India's films. And it was before media studies had been a thing. And so when I read it, I was just like, oh my God, this is so true. Women either have to be the perfect, submissive housewife who surrender all opinions and knowledge to their husbands or their fathers, or if they have any opinions, they're seen as bad and the vamps, the evil women. And that was so true of not just Indian cinema, but lots of depictions of women, and so that was like when the light bulb went off in my head, and I thought, oh wow, the power of the camera is enormous. And who gets to tell the story, who controls the narrative. So that was my reason for saying, right, I need to get into being behind the camera and start telling my own stories. Delighted to take part in Day of the Girl and this charity, because so much of my work is about empowering young women. And I think if we move towards a society where women are equal and women have as much say and, see themselves as powerful as men, I think we'll be living in a very healthy world with, healthy marriages, healthy families, healthy mothers and sons and daughters. And, it all goes back, I think, to the female and the way the female is treated in our society. So anything that empowers young girls to see themselves in that way, the better. And for me, I have a daughter, she's 15. She does karate class after school. She's the only girl, but she doesn't care, because she's like, I need to do it. I need to show the boys that, there is a girl who can beat them. And, and that's important to me, that we empower young women.
And thank you for agreeing to join this interview. It's been very inspirational.
and I look forward to seeing some of your work in the future.